Fairy tales. The stories we grew up with. Tales of love, kindness, and happily ever after. But what if those stories were never meant to be comforting? What if behind the curtain of magic and wonder, there were shadows, hunger, and curses waiting to be told? Tonight, we peel back the innocence of childhood and step into the twisted side of the stories you thought you knew. Prepare yourself for 5 terrifying fairy tale variants that you may never forget. In a small village, there was once a cheerful girl who always wore a red hood her grandmother had sewn for her. One evening, she was asked to visit her grandmother's lonely house deep in the forest. The woods were eerily quiet, and the path seemed darker than usual. When she arrived, the door creaked open by itself. Her grandmother was sitting on the bed, but something felt terribly wrong. Her skin looked pale and stretched, her eyes sunk deep like empty wells. Yet she smiled, a smile too wide, too unnatural. "Come closer, my dear. I've missed you so much." As the girl hesitated, she noticed a foul smell filling the air. Her grandmother's eyes glowed faintly, like a predator watching its prey. "Grandmother, why are your eyes so big?" "To see you better, my dear." The figure reached out. The girl gasped. Long black claws protruded from the frail hands. Her blood ran cold. This wasn't her grandmother. It was the wolf, wearing her grandmother's skin. Her scream pierced the night, and then vanished into silence. From that day, villagers swore that if you passed that abandoned house, you might hear the sound of a child singing, mixing with the low, mournful howl of a wolf. The prince discovered Snow White lying peacefully in a crystal coffin, as if merely asleep. Her beauty was enchanting, untouched by death. Yet there was something unnatural about her lips, tinged with blue, and a faint mist swirled inside the glass. Unable to look away, the prince had the coffin brought back to his castle. At night, he sat beside her, staring endlessly. Hours passed. The silence was unbearable. Then, tap, tap, tap. Snow White's eyes flicked open. But they weren't warm or gentle. They were rolled back, milky white. Slowly, she sat up. Her body moved stiffly, her skin cold as stone. It wasn't true love's kiss that revived her. It was death itself, crawling back into her body. She leaned close, her voice raspy and broken. "You've kept me here, so I'll never leave you, even if I'm no longer alive." From that night onward, darkness consumed the castle. The prince was never seen without Snow White by his side. But her laughter was hollow, her smile a mask. Everyone knew. She wasn't human anymore. The Little Mermaid saved a prince from the fury of the sea and fell hopelessly in love. She made a desperate bargain, her beautiful voice in exchange for human legs. But every step on land was agony, each footstep slicing her flesh as though she walked on knives. With every drop of blood, her life grew shorter. Still, she endured the pain for love. But the prince married another, leaving her heart shattered. On the wedding night, she wept silently on the shore. Her body began to dissolve into sea foam, her sacrifice meaningless. Yet instead of fading, her sorrow twisted into something darker. The ocean embraced her grief, and her spirit refused to die. She rose again, not as the mermaid she once was, but as a vengeful spirit bound to the sea. Now, sailors speak of a song carried by the waves, sorrowful yet irresistible. If you answer back, you'll glimpse a beautiful face beneath the water. But before you can cry out, cold hands will drag you into the abyss, never to return. Cinderella's fairy godmother gave her a gown of silver and slippers of glass, warning her, "Return before midnight, or the magic will consume you." That night, the ballroom was enchanted by her beauty. The prince danced with her, never wanting to let go. But when the clock struck 12, the spell twisted. Her silver gown turned as black as ashes. The glass slippers cracked and dripped like bone splintering under flesh. The prince tried to hold her, but when she looked up, her eyes were hollow pits, her smile stretched unnaturally wide. Then, instead of dancing, she began to feed. Her slippers tore into flesh like blades, her dress soaking crimson. Guests screamed as she feasted, the ballroom echoing with terror. They say the castle was cursed that very night. If you stand near its ruins, you may still hear the distant shatter of glass and the cries of those who never escaped. Two starving children wandered the forest until they found a cottage made entirely of sweets. Walls of gingerbread, windows of sugar, roof dripping with candy. Overjoyed, they ate greedily, laughing at their fortune. But as night fell, they realized too late. The house was alive. The candy walls pulsed like flesh. Chocolate oozed into blood. The floor groaned like bones breaking beneath their feet. The witch appeared, smiling as the children screamed. They ran for the door, but it snapped shut with jagged teeth. The windows blinked, oozing red tears. This wasn't a home, it was a mouth. The house itself was starving, and they were its meal. By morning, the cottage looked sweet and inviting once more. But those who dare approach swear they can hear faint scratching from inside, like desperate nails clawing to escape. Fairy tales often promise happy endings. But in these forgotten versions, the endings are anything but happy. From wolves wearing human skin, to cursed brides, to houses that eat the innocent. Perhaps these stories were never meant for children at all. If these tales sent chills down your spine, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more haunting stories, and share in the comments. Which twisted fairy tale disturbed you the most? Because remember, every story hides a shadow, and some shadows are watching you right now.